Hello guys, this is Octavius with North American Archery. Thank you so much for tuning into our channel. Today I want to talk to you about focusing on a spot. What does it mean to focus on a spot? There's so many people telling us that in traditional archery about focusing on a spot so we'll be more accurate when we're shooting our traditional bows. But the thing is that it's easier said than done, especially in a pressure situation. And what I mean by that, let's say you're at a tournament shooting your bow and arrow and you're competing against other people for a trophy or for some money, or if you're in the actual league and you're shooting your bows against other teams, or if you're in a deer stand or a blind, or you're going out on a safari hunt and you're using your traditional equipment. Those things add additional pressures. It's not like just shooting in the backyard and you're shooting at the same target over and over and over again and you have that repetitive muscle memory baked into your psyche. It's not that easy all the time. So sometimes when I've hunted, I've seen the entire animal and it might be a big buck and I'm looking at him and I'm looking at his antlers and I'm focusing more on what's around him and how big he is versus the spot I want to hit. But here's the thing, it is natural to focus on the spot. God gave each and every one of us the ability to focus on the spot when we want to. You see, if you look across your room at a light switch and you focus on that spot and you take your index finger and you go up and you put it right on it. So you stare at it and you put your finger right on it like that. Just keep your arm at your side and you lift it and you point right at that spot that you're looking at. You'll notice that every single time you do that, your pointer finger or your index finger will be directly on the center of what you're looking at. That is focusing on a spot in its simplest form. Now all you got to do is translate that to your bow arm, and when you raise up your bow arm, you're going to put it right there on the spot as well, and you're going to look down that arrow shaft. A lot of guys say they don't look at their arrow because they shoot instinctively. I shoot instinctively, but if I really be honest, I probably pay more attention to the arrow than I actually even know. If I was blindfolded and I shot my arrow at a target, I wouldn't be able to hit it. Or if I was in pitch black darkness and I tried to shoot at a bullseye on a target, could I hit it? The answer is no, because we need a sight window, which the sight window is anywhere in this area of the bow. You need a sight picture, okay, to be able to encompass everything in your mind to where you can make a shot on what you're focusing on. So your peripheral vision is noticing the arrow. It's noticing sometimes even the tip of the arrow. And some guys even gap shoot. And they are paying attention to the arrow a lot. But if you're an instinctive shooter like me, focus on the spot is critical because you're shooting within 1 to 2 seconds. Sometimes you're snap shooting. And if you're not focusing on that spot, and trying to do it instinctively, like raising up that finger and focusing on that light switch across the room, then you're going to be up a creek without a paddle. All right, so I do many exercises to try to get better at this. I'm not at all where I want to be, but the whole saying on our channel is if you don't have to get ready when you stay ready. Well, part of staying ready is coming up with exercises to sharpen your skill set. And so you get to a place where you're under a pressure situation, you're able to perform at the highest level. So behind me, what you'll notice, if I get out of the way, is right there is a hay bale with an actual target behind it. It's a block target, and then hanging from that string right here is a bottle. And I'm going to focus on that spot and I'm going to try to hit that spot multiple times. Now, on that bottle, it's an Old Spice bottle, it's some body wash, an old bottle that I saved. I have many different bottles I use this for, but that's an Old Spice bottle. I have several of those because for years I've used the Old Spice body wash. Just a side note, has nothing to do with the channel, but whatever. Just a plug there, I guess. Anyways, but I'm gonna focus on the words. I'm gonna focus on something on that bottle that is a little bit smaller than the actual bottle itself. Because if I hit that, I'm gonna hit the bottle, right? So if I zoom in on it a little bit, you can see that bottle right there. So let me focus on the spot, show you what I'm talking about. I just pinned it right against the hay bale. Okay, let me try it again. This is just a little exercise that I do to make sure that I have something different that I can actually do. Hit it again. So the thing is, in traditional archery, it's so important to freshen it up, focus on a spot. I hang tennis balls, I might hang some electrical tape and try to go through the center of the electrical tape. I might hang a clay and try to break the clay. So today I decided to, let's go get an old bottle out of my shop and hang it from a string and try to pin it about 20 yards away. And you can do that at different distances. There's other exercises that I do as well, and I can show you that over the course of the channel's videos. But my whole focus is today is to try to illustrate something that a lot of guys struggle doing, and that is focusing on a spot and making it something that you do in your practice throughout the week, or throughout the month, or throughout the year. Okay? So when you're looking at your target, by the way, you want to bore a hole with your eyes, and you want to bore a hole right where you're looking, and you want to raise that bow arm up, and you want that whole entire time your shot process has already been handled, it's already been taken care of, you've been shooting your shot process over and over again, so you're not worried about that. What you're worried about right now is you're going to come up and you're going to come into your target, and when you focus on it, you're going to hold that pose for a couple seconds, and you're going to let that arrow go. And you're not going to think about it because you're focusing with all your intention on that target, on that spot on that target. Not the big foam target, not the whole animal, but just right where you want to hit. It might be the vitals, might be the bullseye, or it might be something else you're trying to hit, like a tennis ball or a bottle in this case. So the bow arm needs to come up with a straight forward motion, and you want to pull straight back, go to anchor, and as soon as you know in your heart that it's time to release that arrow, you release the arrow. In other videos, I want to talk about the actual shot process. I'm sure I've done it a little bit on the channel on other videos, but I want to start breaking down some of the things that I'm going through right now. I'm literally deconstructing my shot process throughout this week. Even in the midst of hunting season, I'm deconstructing it because I'm trying to get better, because I'm noticing some tendencies on film that I should not have. And I want to break those habits. That's what part of traditional archery is. It makes you a better archer when you commit to it, because it's much more difficult than other forms of archery. Now, I want you not to get discouraged, because this is going to be a lifetime process for you and I to focus on the spot, to bore a hole, I should say, right where you're looking, and coming up with your bow arm, have your actual drawing arm come back in a straight back motion. You hit anchor, and as soon as you have in your heart it's time, because you're focusing on that target, you know it's time to let that arrow go, and you let it go. But you look at nothing else. You just look at that focused in on spot that you want to hit. So that is the beauty of instinctual archery, or instinctive archery. It is using the faculties that God has given you by just focusing on the spot, raising up your bow arm, like you raise that finger up, looking at that light switch that you tried, I'm sure, in your room that you're watching this video in. And when you do all that and you connect the dots, you're going to be able to hit your target more consistently when you're trying to shoot instinctively while focusing on the spot. Some other videos I want to talk to you guys about several different shooting techniques that I use to improve my shot process. There's things that I've been going through even this week, but there's some things I've learned years ago that I'm still sharpening that I think you might benefit from. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, turn on your post notifications, and I appreciate everything you guys are doing and the comments that you're making and the suggestions that you might have throughout the channel's history. Is there anything that you want me to cover, by the way? Anything at all, just put it in the comments. I'll cover it. I'll give you my opinion on it. By no means the way I do things is the only way to do things, but I've been doing this for a very long time and I've had some success, and I want to make sure that I share with you from the bottom of my heart of what I've learned and some of the lessons that I have implemented into my life to where I'm getting better and better every day. Alright guys, so remember this, you don't have to get ready when you stay ready. Alright guys, we'll talk to you soon.